Was OVW your first training facility? Was that your first training school?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd gone to an event that wasn't the WWF or WCW or the USWA. I went and watched it a few times whenever I saw there was a training school there before that I signed up.
Oh, you went. Did you watch some of the shows there or
I went to
practices
the
there?
Sunday shows a couple times, and I knew Nick Dinsmore from, he was a high school athlete locally, and I knew him from the gym. And so I basically went and watched a few times, and I looked his number up in the phone book
Oh, that's awesome.
and called him. And back then, the way I was like, "Hey, this is Rob Conway. You know who I am." And and I asked him about wrestling, and he kind of kayfabed me. And he was just like, "You need to talk to Danny. You need to talk to Danny." But I know he knew who I was because his strength coach at Providence helped me get ready for some bodybuilding contests. So I'd seen him when he was in high school, and I thought, well, but he really encouraged me to talk to Danny, and he wouldn't give away anything about the business.
That is awesome. See, that's a story I've never heard before.
Yeah,
I never
yeah,
knew Nick
yeah, we kayfabe.
kayfabe you back in the
And in
started.
Providence High School was a big. They looked up to New Albany, and they were always the underdog. So that was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the thing about starting out there at OVW with Nick is I went to the shows first.
Uh-huh.
And it was nothing like I had thought it was going to be. I mean, I'd only watched
good
it
or
on
bad?
TV. Well, it was just different. After I saw the guys, I thought I'm going to be on television in a couple months. I'll be wrestling The Rock and Stone Cold. And then once I joined, it was way harder than I thought it was going to be. But I'd already told everybody I was going to be a wrestler, so I mean, I couldn't quit.
Yeah.
So, but the thing about OVW, you talk about kayfabe, is that I joined the class and was going to the school and was not allowed to be in the back. I still had to pay to go to the shows. I wasn't allowed to be in the back until my very first match.
That's awesome.
And it was against Rip Rogers, and Danny said I was wrestling Rip in a tag match, and I said, how am I going to know what to do when I get out there? Because they didn't tell us that. We just went over moves, and he goes, oh, well, when you get out there, Rip will just tell you. And I was like, oh, okay, that's how it worked. And then Rip came to me, now that we all break kayfabe, but he came to me and he goes, can you do a gorilla press? And I looked up in the air thinking about it, and he said, oh, no. What about the rack? I said, oh, I can do that. He goes, we'll do the rack instead.
That is awesome.
And that was the only thing we talked about was the very first move I made in a wrestling ring. Nick tagged me. I grabbed Rip's arm. I spun it around, and he said, you're hurting me. Tag out.
That is great.
And then I got back in. He covered Nick. And he looked at me, he looked and goes, Zia Zave. And I thought, man, that sounds like save. So I came in and I kicked him in the back.
Oh, my God.
And he was expecting me to grab his foot and pull him off because I was a good guy. And he had positioned himself so his back was to me and his feet. And I kicked him in the back, and the referee was putting me out, and he got up and said, you should be arrested for attempted murder. So those my first two moves.